What's up, everybody? It is I, DLE Ryan. Oh my goodness, it is Duel Links content. Let's go. Today we are talking about the power rankings. It has been a while since we've had a power ranking video up on the channel. Took a little bit of a break from Master Duel, but we're back. Power rankings are back. It's going to be in a little bit more of a simplified format because, as you can see on your screen, there was only 4 tournaments for Duel Links this past weekend, or past week, whatever. I think it was more of a week. And realistically, that's probably, there's probably not going to be a whole lot of tournaments moving forward for Duel Links across the community, as a lot of people are playing that Master Duel. So we're probably going to change up how we do the format of the power rankings. We're probably going to try and start including more tournaments that we can find just with a weighted system. This one's just the normal power ranking that you see before you, but we're probably going to move more towards, higher price pool tournaments, get weighted more. Tournaments that don't have Swiss into top cut will still be counted in some fashion, just not as much. We'll talk with the team, we'll figure it out, and we'll try to get the best representation of data that we can get to you guys. I still think that this list ultimately came out to what the meta pretty much looks like, but I think the more data, the better, as always. So let's get into it. Those are the 4 tournaments you can see above. I believe the Meta Weekly and the GG Tour were the 2 largest of the previous week, as usual. Magnets on top, yes sir, at 19 points, very closely followed by Buster Blader, who was in 2nd place. That's right, we have a lot to unpack here, so we'll just go through the decks, and we're going to kind of talk about them. Also, expanding power rankings as well. The power rankings will be pretty much power rankings, Rye Report, and the Rogue Report, all in one. So that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. Kind of converting all those videos into one video, so it should be easy digestible for the community. Magnets being tier 1 is not really a surprise to me. It's the cheapest, bestest deck that can, win tournaments and do well in tournaments, top tournaments. It's also a Destiny Draw based deck with Kiteroid and Stall, and it's very easy to clutch out wins right now with a strategy like that in mind. I will say that I don't think it's actually the best deck. I actually think it's probably either Gaia or Buster Blader at this point. It's just the cheapest one, the one that most people have accessibility to, and the one that they're just bum rushing the tournament scene with. You can kind of see the top 8 conversion rate not being so high compared to how many people actually entered with it. 93 entered with it. The stats are actually pretty poor for how many people actually played the Magnet deck. So a lot of people say it's the best deck. I think it's kind of like the Shiranui of our meta. Everyone's playing it, right? It's the Eldritch of this game. Everyone's playing it, but it's not necessarily the best deck. There are other reasons that they're playing it, whether it be lower skill cap or cheaper cost, because these other decks are super expensive. Buster Blader, second up, and one of the best decks I think in the metagame right now, is very, very, very expensive to purchase. What makes Buster Blader so good? Obviously, the Buster Lock is really strong. Their trap card's really strong. Be able to use it to turn and get sent to the graveyard. Not many trap cards can do that. And I think one thing a lot of people overlook is Buster Blader has piercing damage, which can pretty much just ignore Kiteroid, right? Which there's a lot of Kiteroid right now, as pretty much every Magnet deck plays Kiteroid at maximum stacks. So I think I've seen, when we did the GG Tour, we saw so many Buster Bladers just cheese out wins. Not even cheese out wins, just literally swing through a monster for lethal and destroy their opponent. So Buster Blader, I really like the deck. I think it's either that or Gaia is the best deck right now. It really does feel that way. Gaia is also expensive because you got to get Blackluster Soldier. Blackluster Soldier is the way to play Gaia, or so it seems. It recently won the GG Tour, I believe, versus Buster Blader. It's just a solid deck in the metagame right now, and it largely has been untouched from where it has been standing. The only thing it's ever received in terms of a nerf is the field skill getting nerfed, but that's about it. Other than that, Gaia is still Gaia, and I can see it rising in the power rankings, probably taking first place next week or so, depending on how many tournaments, again, end up being played. We also had Water XCs do very well. Water XCs, it's just the standard for the metagame, right? It's just you must be this good to play in the metagame, and you got to be able to beat Water XCs. That's kind of the go-to. I think its days of being the best deck is pretty much over. I don't really see the metagame getting nerfed to the point where Water XCs is like the best deck again. That would be insane. But it's definitely a part of our metagame, probably in that nice tier 2 category, if I had to guess. I'd probably say Buster Blader, Gaia tier 1, and then Magnets and Water XCs kind of more in the tier 2. If we had to lean towards that. There is also a world that maybe Magnets is just tier 1 because they're just better, but I think there's a lot of other circumstances as to why they're kind of the best deck right now. We also had Dino Mist pop off today. Oh my goodness, Dino Mist. I think they won a tournament, and that's why they're on here. So you can kind of see the player base leaving and having lower population tournaments has allowed things like Dino Mist and whatnot to sneak in there and win tournaments, which I guess is a good thing for rogue player lovers. Dino Mist, they have the one play, and that's it. If it doesn't work out, hey, it is what it is. This guy must have gotten super lucky to get all the way. I didn't see the tournament, but he must have gotten super lucky to make it all the way and win with the deck. Odd Eyes Pendulum. I love the Odd Eyes Pendulum deck. It's actually my favorite to watch in Duel Links right now. It just has so many different plays and different lines of plays. Unfortunately, it's kind of bricky, and it also you got to set it up first. It's not like good from the get-go. You got to set up your board, you set up your extra deck, and you ideally get your Pendulum Gazers skill off to really, really, pop off with it. Whenever we get Link Summoning, I think this deck's going to be really, really strong, or just if we get a little bit more Pendulum support, this could be really strong. Of all the Pendulum decks, this deck definitely feels like the one that has the highest chance of popping off and becoming really good. Destiny Heroes, ooh, how the mighty have fallen, is just not doing very well. they're just not doing very well. That's really all I got to say about them. We're moving away from the Harpy, MST, meta, so they're just not as useful anymore. Teller Knights, again, D-draw decks really, really good. And we're kind of just getting into the, we topped, but we didn't really do very well. Abyss Actors, they've honestly been kind of disappointing ever since their top 4 finish in the power ranking we had a couple months ago. They haven't really done anything. They're just kind of playable, but they've always been kind of rogue tier 3, and that's kind of where they're chilling for now. Gimmick Puppets are on here. That's a surprise. Invoke Neos. Noble Knights, no surprise there. Best deck. Ritual Beast, more D-draw. Stromberg, more D-draw. Not much to say about most of the rogue decks down here that earned only 1 point. They just literally got a top 8 finish without much else to really talk about for them. But yeah, that is pretty much what our meta looks like. We are now looking at Phantom Knights to see if they can do anything. We should have a Duel Links tournament. Don't know. I don't think it'll be a streamed event, but we do have a Duel Links tournament on Wednesday. And then possibly another one closer to the weekend. We'll see. With a little bit of a higher prize pool. We'll see. It depends on the interest for Duel Links as always. And that's pretty much all I have to say. We'll see if Phantom Knights can take on Magnets, Buster Blader, and Gaia. Because I think those are the 3 decks that are kind of creating the metagame, as it were. That is what you're looking to be. Until the next video, boys, peace out.